What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the new album from the band Putrid Pile, entitled Paraphiliac Perversions. This is released on Severed Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this project, it's based out of Racine, Wisconsin, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very traditional, gore-tinged, perverted style of brutal death metal. Yeah. There are lots and lots of bands in brutal death metal that are pretty much a solo one-man sort of project, where pretty much one person handles and does everything. Vocals, lyrics, music, production, mixing, a little bit of this and that and everything. But I would consider someone like Putrid Pile to be one of the pioneers and one of the trailblazers for this style. And obviously, in my opinion, one of the best. Putrid Pile is, of course, Sean LeCan. He is probably one of the most charismatic, humble, and hardworking individuals in this sort of style of music. Probably one of the most consistent and most charismatic one-man brutal death metal bands going today. If it wasn't for people like him, or I would say Sean Whitaker of Insidious Decrepancy or Viral Load, one-man brutal death metal projects wouldn't exist if it weren't for people like them. A lot of the newer bands of today, like let's say maybe Necrophiliac or Sadistic Butchering or even Splattered Entrails. Of course, Splattered Entrails is a full-fledged band now, but it was a one-person project in the beginning. I would say bands like that have gotten a lot of inspiration from people like Sean LeCan. And Putrid Pile has always been such a fun blast to listen to, from the samplings to the riffs to the guttural vocals, the screams. It's just an intense sort of package, and such a great discography over the years with albums like 2001's Collection of Butchery, The Pleasure and Suffering from 2005, House of Dementia from 2009, and the last time we had heard a Putrid Pile record in 2012 with Blood Fetish. All really, really awesome records in their own right. And lest we forget the splits with Disgracia and Viral Load. Some great, great stuff with those releases as well. Now Putrid Pile has returned with a new album entitled Paraphiliac Perversions. I believe this is the 5th album from Putrid Pile. It's 17 tracks and clocks in at around 44 minutes in length. And I honestly think that this is a much, much deeper and stronger record than the last time we had heard from Putrid Pile, which of course is being Blood Fetish. There seems to be a lot more diversity when it comes to the riffs, a lot more diversity when it comes to the vocals, and little subtle hints of stuff you wouldn't really normally expect from a Putrid Pile record. You get all of that in full display here. And I think an album like Paraphiliac Perversions proves why Putrid Pile is so valuable and so important to the brutal death metal world. One thing that really makes a Putrid Pile record so special is the way the riffs are handled. There's a certain subtleness and technicality when it comes to these to his guitar playing skills, and they sound so wonderful from the very get-go. Like on the first couple of opening tracks of this record, like Death Decor and The Kiss of Death. Just some incredible work going down with these guitar riffs. So catchy, so memorable, and so unique. I love what he does with these guitar riffs, especially towards some of the more lengthier tracks of this record, like Necrophiliac or Onward the Dogs of War. Just some really great and smart guitar playing being done here. There's a good emphasis of bottom end to be heard as far as like bass is concerned, but more likely than anything, this is a Putrid Pile record that is very much dominated by heavy guitar riffs and very wonderfully executed riffs too. I just love how Sean plays and does things well. He is a very gifted and talented person when it comes to playing guitar work. Of course, as per usual, you would expect a drum programming sort of sound to be done with the drumming here, but I really like the way that Sean does his style of programmed drumming here for a release like this. it sounds very good. It's very well timed, very well syncopated. I just love how he handles the drum work throughout this entire release, especially when it comes to some of the quicker sort of songs on here. There are songs that almost verge on death and grind sort of territories going on with this record. I mean, short songs like Puke on It, Whore Annihilation, and of course the shortest track on here being Toxic Shock Therapy, which is just a 4-second track. Straightforward, no chase sort of thing going on with the vocals and musical stylings. But I think the shorter tracks add a little bit of a grind sort of feeling going for it, but I think Putrid Pile can make that sort of style work and play very well. And going on to the vocals now, Sean's vocals are so recognizable and so distinct. He has such variety and detail when it comes to his vocals, whether it be his really low, nasty guttural vocals to his piercing sort of wretch sort of screams and high-end vocals. I just think he does great wonders with his vocal stylings. He weaves a very good story when it comes to some of these songs and how he does things. Going back to the opening track, Death Decor, just the vocal diversity going on there, ranging from his lower register voice to his higher register voice, I think it really sounds fantastic to listen to. And going on to tracks like Gutter Sludge Tramp and a Necrophiliac's Pastime and I Need You Dead, it's just some sensational stuff. Sean is a very talented and charismatic individual on all sorts of fronts, whether it be musically or vocally or just him just being a great dude. There's just a lot to love about Sean LeCan, and there's a lot to love here about Paraphiliac Perversions. So overall, it's great to have Putrid Pile back in our lives as far as brutal death metal is concerned. This is another really fantastic album in his arsenal. I don't know if I can consider it to be his best. I would have to say I lean towards albums like Collection of Butchery and the House of Dementia. I think those albums are fantastic, but I think Paraphiliac Perversions is another great step in the right direction for him. I really enjoyed this a lot more than Blood Fetish, and I would consider this to be one of the very best brutal death metal albums to come out in 2016. To me, at least. So, if I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Death Decor, Punishment, The Kiss of Death, Gutter Sludge Tramp, Necro Packrat, and Onward the Dogs of War. That's such a great track. So I'm going to leave you some selected links to some certain tracks from this album that are currently officially streaming on YouTube, so you can check them out and have a feel of what this album is about. And I will also link you to Severed Records, where you can purchase a physical copy of this. You can buy the CD version. I believe there's also a t-shirt option available, and if you happen to get a hold of Putrid Pile himself, I believe he has copies for sale as well if you want to help directly support the artist. So let me show you the album again. This is Paraphiliac Perversions by Putrid Pile. This is released on Severed Records. Go support this. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very solid 9 out of 10. Very fun release. Probably one of the best things I've heard Putrid Pile do. Yeah, so if you happen to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it and how you feel about it and how you think it compares to previous Putrid Pile releases. Are any of you guys into Putrid Pile? Do you have a favorite release of his? Are you into one-man brutal death metal? Definitely let me know and let's talk about it. I'm gonna conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel, and until the next time, Army Ho out.